Warning: this video explores mature themes that some viewers might find disturbing. If you or anyone you know needs help, please visit the link provided in the description. Thank you. Julia lives in the nice part of the city. You visited her once before and were surprised that the apartment did not reflect your idea of her as a hippie. She was wearing an old multicolored caftan dress, faded and somewhat tattered, which clashed with the modern interior of her apartment. You remember that now. It reminds you of something, the color on that dress. Anyway, the apartment building has an impressive marble entrance housing an elevator fitted with brass and dark wood. You remember her apartment being large and bright. She offered you red wine, and you're sure that it was way too expensive for you to really appreciate its value. The entrance is open, so you manage to go up to the elevator and onto her apartment door without any issues. No one answers when you ring the doorbell. You wait a while, and then you decide to try the handle. To your surprise, it's also unlocked. You open the door and call out Julia's name. Julia's cat comes out of the kitchen and looks at you, then turns around and heads back into the kitchen, leaving dirty paw prints behind. You follow the cat, which leads you all the way to a large red pool on the black and white tiles. And there you see Julia's body, in the middle of the kitchen floor, propped up against the stove, her head lolling to the side. Her face is swollen and gray, and her bulging, bloodshot eyes stare at you. Her throat is crushed. It looks like it's been wrung like a wet towel. A warm sensation rushes through your body. Your hands are tingling, and your mouth falls open. You look at your hands. They shake, cramp, and clench uncontrollably as if they were clutching something. Why do you feel this way, you think to yourself, as you gradually get control over your hands again? You kneel down beside Julia's dead body. She has claw marks all over her skin, and her forearm is swollen, full of festering cuts. It looks like she's been inserting broken glass beneath her skin. You notice the same on her neck. There's a bowl of broken glass on the counter, and a set of pliers covered in blood next to it. That looks like the scar my mother had on her neck, you think, looking at the glimmering piece of glass. She has clearly been hurting herself badly, but that wasn't what killed her. You're not a coroner, but she was obviously strangled by someone else. You just feel empty inside. You don't even have the energy to be sad or angry. Julia would have been the one to make sense of it all, but now she's gone. I have to tell Christian, you mumble, and you dial his number with shaking hands. Christian answers in a voice that sounds distant somehow. Hello? I'm sorry, you say. I have very bad news. It's Julia. She's dead. There's just silence on the other end. Christian? You say, hoping for an answer. You did this, he says coldly. What? You say. How could you do this, he snarls. You know I loved her like a mother. I don't understand, you say. Fuck you. You're a fucking monster. I bet you liked it. I bet you got off on it too, you sick fuck. No, you're desperate now. What the fuck are you talking about? You're doing it, aren't you? He says. You're doing it to be the priest. She was in your way. You knew that she could perform a greater sacrifice than you could ever do, so you killed her. And now you're coming for me, right? You try to answer, but you're hit by a sudden, alarming wave of vertigo. You reach for the kitchen counter. Your vision goes blurry and dark. You see Julia's face in front of you, your hands wrapped around her throat and her face blue and swollen. You can feel that warm, tingling feeling in your hands as it crushes her larynx. As the dizziness fades, you hear your phone bounce off the floor tiles. I was gone for quite a while when I was feverish. Did I do this? You think, dreading the answer. Perhaps I can find something here that will help me understand, you think, and start looking around the apartment. You walk through the bright rooms with their designer furniture and abstract art. Everything is minimalistic and somehow sterile. She always said that she preferred calmness to clutter. One room stands out though, her study. The room is filled with 60s and 70s memorabilia, band posters, signs, buttons, wind chimes, vinyls mounted on the wall, old clothing and jewelry. It is furnished and lit more like you would expect, with dark, earthy colors, opaque plastic, and teak paneling. The room is anything but minimalistic. You notice a heavy, sweet smell of incense as you enter the room. On her desk is a box that Julia has been going through recently, and you start inspecting the things inside. There's a red diary and a black binder with printed papers. The binder seems to be meeting notes from the Western Vajravarahi Society. You sit down at the desk and start reading, piecing together a coherent image. The Western Vajravarahi Society was founded by a Tibetan man called Tenzin. He lived in a poor Tibetan village where he worked as a butcher, practicing traditional slaughter of animals. He noticed that the animals, under some circumstances, would go into a state of euphoria while dying. Through painstaking experimentation and deep conversations with local monks, he discovered that his methods matched those of forgotten Buddhist teachings that talked about pain as salvation. This is how he found the way of Vajravarahi. While meditating, he received a vision that indicated he needed to go west to lead a holy pilgrimage. So, Tenzin came to Germany in the late 70s and became inspired to create a unique blend of Buddhist teachings, Western occultism, and scientific research as means to dig deeper into the secrets of pain. He started a group to study Tantric Buddhism and soon began introducing some of the members to self-harm techniques as a path to enlightenment. Julia joined the group in the late 80s. In the early 90s, your parents, Peter and Eva Roth, joined too. They were all captivated by his deep spirituality and his serene charm. From Julia's diary, you understand that your parents were soon singled out as spiritually mature enough to partake in private sessions with Tenzin. Julia seems to have been left out from these sessions. She was resentful about this, but hoped to convince Tenzin to join the inner circle once he returned. It is not clear from her notes where he went, but it seems he never came back. Julia took it on herself to share Tenzin's teaching after he disappeared, but there are many notes about how frustrated she was about not having access to him. You put down the papers and trying to grasp what you have just read, and that's when it hits you. The voice of the man in the cage. You've heard that voice before, but where? You're 4 years old again. You're walking through a corridor under hearth fluorescent lights with lockers on each side. You hold your mother's hand as she leads you towards the green door leading you to the swimming pool. She's excited. She walks a bit too fast for you and you slip on the wet floor tiles, trying to keep up with her pace. You're in the water and it's cold. You hear whispers. Your mom and dad stand in the water on either side of you. In front of you, Tenzin, his golden smile shining at you. "Don't worry," he whispers. "This will be quick." The voice of the man in the cage. It's Tenzin. In your memories, he's holding your hand underwater. He runs a razor blade on each of your fingertips. The blood makes red clouds in the water and you feel lightheaded. The water turns black and you sink further and further down. You're in a dark room and Tenzin is here. His gold teeth shine as he smiles at you in the darkness. And there is something else here, a shadow moving in the dark. Then something takes hold of your hand and caresses it and sucks on your fingertips. A face stares back at you with big, round, pitch-black eyes, sharp black teeth, and pale skin. It sucks your fingers and your entire hand, and when it lets go, your hand is a mangled mess. Tenzin, you think? He was with my parents, and somehow he was in the cage that I saw. He called me Eva. Did he think I was my mother? And you suddenly realize something. My parents, they tried to find him after he disappeared. They hoped that he would be able to help them before they died. Now the same thing is happening to me and to Christian. Could Tenzin help us? You feel a glimmer of hope. Tenzin will know more about this, if you can find him again. You're leaning against the shower door, letting the warmth of the water soothe and ease your mind for a bit. It's nice not to think. You're back in your apartment trying to make sense of the last couple of days. There's been too much on your mind. There's been too much that you don't understand and too much that you never really wanted to remember. The warmth of the water wraps you in a close, wet embrace. He was on the floor, your father. You saw him in the shower, laying there on the tiled floor, shaking behind the green shower curtain. His stitches came loose, blood and pus oozed out of his infected wounds. He couldn't stop clawing at his neck like he was trying to tear his head from his torso. You get out of the shower, wrap a towel around you, and pick up your dirty clothes to throw them into the washing machine. Julia's bag is under your clothes. The dried-up pig's foot fell out at some point and now just lays there. Something makes you hesitant. You put down your clothes and pick up the pig's foot, slowly unwinding the black barbed wire wound around it. It feels cold and smooth, almost oily, and the jet-black glossy material shimmers in the fluorescent bathroom light. You can't really make out what it's made of. The metal is unlike anything you've ever touched before. While feeling and studying it, you gently start to wind the wire around your hands. It should hurt, but you don't feel anything as sharp black metal points start biting into your flesh. You look up at the bathroom mirror in front of you, and as your field of vision narrows, the room turns dark. In the dim light, your reflection starts to change. It bulges and swells as you stare at it, twisting into something inhuman. A snout forms where your nose and mouth are, and your eyes creep into their sockets, turning flat and black. You feel that familiar itch. A wave of passion rises through your body, pounding in your veins and stealing your breath. And then you realize it. It's not your face. It's your father's. That's how he looked, trying to crawl his way up from the tiled shower floor. You'll remember him saying in a strange growling voice, "Tenzin, have you found him?" Your mother answered him in a tired voice, "No, it's too late now. We're already part of his flock." The itch subsides. This is how they fell. The mirror goes black in front of you. Then a faint red light starts to shine. You're looking through a window instead of a mirror. You see a vast wasteland of charred, dusty soil scattered with sharp metal chunks, barbed wire, and plastic ruins. Sickly gray and yellow smoke billows up towards the red sky, obscuring what you can only describe as a huge black sun. In the distance, dirt roads snake through the landscape. A gathering of people follow a tall figure with pale skin, wearing flowing robes. You've seen this figure before. It's Cain. The people following the figure, they're not really people at all. They crawl and creep and slither their way forward. Their bodies are a jumble of human and animal features. They shriek and squeal as they try to keep up with the figure, who suddenly stops and looks in your direction. Even though it's miles away, you can still feel their unblinking gaze. The figure turns to you and says, "I have taken you before. I took you in the deep waters. I tasted your fingers. We shared an intimacy, a moment where I showed you the beauty of pain. I will take you again. I will accept you into my flock. They open their mouth and start to sing a strange hymn. As the figure sings, the congregation around them starts writhing on the ground. They caress each other, then biting and tearing and snarling in an uncontrolled, passionate frenzy. You feel sick looking at it. You know that this once excited you, the unbridled lust for pain and humiliation. But not anymore. Not since you saw your father's body twitching in the shower. The scene fades from the mirror as you stand there watching the blood trickle from your hands. All that pain, you think to yourself. It's so pointless and vile. My parents lived with this as their guiding star, and it's what killed them. They tried to escape this. They tried to find Tenzin. They were convinced he could help, but they never found him. But I know how to find him. He told me to use his name to find him. I know what to do. This was episode 5 of our playthrough of Deep Waters, a new scenario for Kult Divinity Lost, published by Helmgast. If you want to find out where your own solo playthrough takes you, please find a link to Helmgast in the description below. If you like what we do and can't wait another week for an episode, please subscribe to our Patreon for early and ad-free access. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to our channel so YouTube knows that we're doing something right. Thank you so much for listening, and until next week, this is Lorefall.